Hi, I'm Amber Delgazo and I work with Special School District of St. Louis County in St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Berry. I'm a resource teacher in the elementary level for Special School District.
Hi, my name is Erin Ogg. I'm a speech language pathologist for Special School District.
My background is as a school psychologist, but my current role is a progress monitoring data coach, which basically means I get to spend all my time supporting teachers in collecting and looking at their data, which, believe it or not, is a lot of fun. Our district's impetus for choosing AIMSweb really was the progress monitoring piece of the tool. Just because we felt, our students are receiving the most intense level of interventions that we've got, and we really needed a better tool to monitor their progress and something that we could really use more frequently. Really, anybody who's providing sort of intense interventions for kids and they want to get together and look at data with us, they're welcome to join us. We get together in a teacher's classroom, we gather around a projector or a smartboard, and we log into AIMSweb, and one by one we bring up a teacher and all her graphs and look through them as a group. So there's definitely a high level of accountability there, but I think that the teams really have worked on building trust with one another and really use the time as an opportunity to get ideas and support when those students that aren't making progress, we need some intervention ideas. Overall, we've really found that the use of the AIMSweb tool, both the specific measures within the system and the online system, have really enabled us to take our teachers to just a higher level. They're able to be so much more responsive to where the students are and make mid-course corrections when those students aren't making the growth that they need to make. As a group of special education students, we've really found their rates of improvement over the course of the year to be at or above what their general education peers are achieving. So that's really exciting. We're really able to see that this is working and we're making gains.
This is our first year for our school implementing the AIMSweb program. As an SSD team, when we heard we were going to be using a web-based program, for those of us that are not maybe the most tech savvy on our team, we were a little bit intimidated initially by that. And the first thing I would say that it was much easier than what we thought it was going to be. And I think time management was another piece where at first we thought, okay, how are we ever going to work this in? Is this going to take away from my instruction time? And we have found that it actually is such an effective part of our instructional time that you don't think that it's taking time away from instruction, because the student involvement piece makes it a crucial piece of instruction. The student involvement piece is the highlight of the program for me and for I think our whole team. The students now want to see what their last week's graph was, and they want to see, okay, where was I? They're calculating and doing the mental math of how many words do I need to read this week to be able to make some improvement on my graph, which is great. They will not leave my room until they see their graph. We have a lot of students that choose to sit in for the parent-teacher conference. So if it's a success, we can sit there and say, look how proud they are of their own progress, and the student will say, yeah, I did this, and look at this, and so the student really takes a lot of ownership, and it's a sense of pride for them to get to share that. And then sometimes if the conference or the IEP comes at a point when maybe we haven't had as much progress shown on the graph, it's a really good opportunity to have everybody be on the same team and say, okay, if this isn't quite where we need to be, what can we do about that now? So being able to share it not just within our special school district team, but with the grade level and with the administrators and with the parents, all of that gets everybody on the same page and really makes it a team effort. So this is a graph of a 4th grade student, and they're being monitored on the 4th grade level. And with this student, he had an agreement worked out with his parent that if he could keep the data points above the goal line so many weeks, then he received a reward. And so he worked really hard to do that, and was one of the students that made sure that we emailed mom the second that he hit those 4 data points above the line so that he got his reward. And then now we've just come to the point where we have to have the discussion with this student. Okay, you've actually been making the progress, and even better progress than what we expected. So now we need to talk about raising that goal, and the student is a part of that discussion so that we can look at what do you think is an appropriate goal that you can actually attain in a reasonable amount of time. And then I think this will also be something that they can take a copy with them at the end of the year when they meet their goal and they know we have a party planned, and they'll get to take that with them and have something that they can be really proud of.
I have been using the maze measure with my older students, so with my 3rd and 5th graders who are language impaired. With my younger students, I'm using the letter sound fluency and letter naming fluency for a few, and the nonsense word And I have several students who have severe speech impairments, and it's been really good information. The kids are really motivated by it. They love to see their charts and their graphs every week, and we always try to set goals for maybe we can do one better, or look at our errors and try to get our errors down. I think the best thing about it is that they have an automatic or immediate visual that they see that shows their progress. It's so easy to track, you know, what their trends are. If they're moving up, you can see really quickly if they're getting it or if they're not, and then making adjustments based on that. This graph is a letter sound fluency graph, and it's for a first grade little girl who has severe speech impairment. And at the beginning of the year, she was only able to identify 5 letter sounds correctly. And as of the beginning of March, she was almost at 40 letter sounds correct. And so it's been really positive, and she has made a lot of progress along the way. And she loves that her trend line went off the chart.